I think I don't know. I kind of like it, to be honest, but I do see where you guys are coming from. With from the West Ham game, it didn't look right, and I do completely agree with you guys. But I feel like this inverted fullback thing. I think it can work. I think if we just keep on trying, then it could work. I think.
Okay. How about this, right? The thing is,
Hamza,
it works.
Hamza,
It
to be
works
honest with
against.
you, I'll be honest with you, Don Hosa, Smoke, and Hamza. The only time I see the inverted thing working is when, say, it's a team that, say, open up. Like, say, if
Yes.
it's like, say, like an Arsenal who's somewhat open. That's where I could see like this inverted winger thing working. But against a team that tends to play a low block, it does not work because a team that's playing a low block, you need width, and that causes width and makes the pitch more, say, bigger than what it is. Basically, you need players like, say, like a Leon Bailey, who I know he doesn't play for us, but he's not afraid to go at his man, rather than a player who is only rather than just worried about cutting in. When you're just basically making the defender and the opponent's team job easier by you just cutting in because they know your movement, rather than, you know what, let me take my chance and let me see if I can. Yeah, Morris is very skillful, and I think if he does take his man on, he could probably go past the man. Yeah, he might not be the quickest, but skill-wise, he's very skillful. So in a
Yeah.
sense, the low block works with depending on your opponent who you're playing.
Hamza,
Yeah.
before you change, just to Adam's point, the thing is, the inverted fullback would be effective if you're playing with true wingers and not inverted wingers, right?
One
Because if
hundred
you're playing with
percent, yeah. Because if it's
you're
like
playing with true,
Cancelo and Grealish,
yeah,
like when we have the
yeah,
Cancelo and Grealish together, it doesn't work. But I
yeah,
completely understand. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
because they both want to cut in and go in, and there is no space to go in there because you're set up against a low block. So if we are playing natural wingers like a Isani and Sterling on their strong foot, fine, it'll work
then it'll
because
work.
they'll
100%. Yeah.
they'll stretch, they'll stretch the width either way. But now the issue is when they don't and it becomes congested and now there's no space, right? So to back up Adam, inverted winger is good if it's an open game, right? Fine. But once you're going up against a low block and you don't have natural wingers, then it becomes a bore because it's very predictable and it's very slow. And you see us, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree with that.
Grealish gets the ball, passes back to Gundo. Mahrez gets the ball, will pass it to De Bruyne. Or what is that thing whereby De Bruyne has to do magic from somewhere?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I agree with that. I think, like you said, if like I said before with Cancelo and Grealish, when they're both on one side, it just looks it don't look right because they're both almost running into each other. They both want to do the same thing, and it's like, I mean, we do get results out of it. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like there's something there. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me, but when I watch City and when I watch Cancelo and Grealish together, there's something there that's not right. It just doesn't look right to me. I feel like they both almost do identically the same thing. They both want to run in the same position. They both want to cut in on that right foot and, cutting through the midfield. They both do literally the same thing almost. And in the long term, I mean, not long term, sorry, in the Champions League, I don't think we'll get away with that. I'll be really honest. We'll get away with that in the Premier League, I think. But when it comes to the Champions League, they're very predictable in what they're doing. I think somebody said they're very predictable in what they're doing. And in the Champions League, that's where the big boys are. And I feel like if we do that in Champions League, I don't think it will work. I'll be really honest with you. I think we'd get punished if that happens in Champions League because it's working in the Premier League, right? I'm not saying it's not working at all. But I just feel like if we went into the Champions League doing that, Cancelo and Grealish together, and they're both running in the exact same position, they're both doing the exact same thing, I just don't think it would work. But you never know. Pep's a genius. You know what I mean? Pep's got ideas. Pep knows better than me. He knows better than everyone. So if he thinks it's going to work, then it will work. But my opinion is I don't think it will work.
Can I ask who's playing FIFA Foot Champs?
My brother.
You can tell someone is playing FIFA for champs from the sounds. Let me just read this. Lucas said hi. Veda says I'll be joining in 10 minutes. Guys, I'm not sure about my
Nice.
internet. Like nobody's
It's
using
better now.
it.
Better
It's
now.
better now, Patrick. It's better.
Whatever
Yeah,
you've
but I'm
done, worked.
I did nothing. I just stood here and just
Maybe you
looked at
kicked
it.
yourself out and you put yourself back in. Maybe you were the
Yeah, because
problem.
sometimes it does that. Sometimes it just buffers. And
Yeah,
it just doesn't
StreamYard
work.
is horrible. That's why I keep moving away from it. It's just that the other software I have to load a few things. So let's talk about this boy, man. Adam, what do you
Oh
think of
yeah.
this boy,
Let's talk
man?
about Rico
Do you think
Lewis.
do you think this boy has a future? Do you think we have to send him on loan as Jack
Absolutely.
says?
Because I don't know. I was watching a report that what was it that Bayern Munich, but like a few teams from Germany were linked with him. Bayern Munich wanted him. Yeah, I think some other team in some other two teams in Germany also wanted him. But he's not going nowhere. He's staying here. He's gonna be a City legend.
You know,
Jesus Christ, what a statement. Go ahead, don't smoke.
if Pep plays you and you're young, just know like there's something that he sees about you. Right. Pep is very stingy with minutes, especially in the Champions League. Right. Pep and if he plays you in your natural position, right? There is and you saw he asked him to play as an inverted fullback. Right. Pep just doesn't. That means he trusts you on the ball because you're gonna have the ball in dangerous areas. Right. Pep just doesn't give minutes to anyone, especially if you from the development and whatnot. He normally gives you stingy minutes, as I like to call it, stingy minutes. Right. It's when you win, you've battered the opponent in a way whereby even if you have a disaster class, you won't lose the game. Then he'll bring you in for him to start you, especially against Sevilla, because Sevilla, technically, they have good players, right? These are not bums, right? They have good technical players who are good. Most of them are seasoned international players, right?
Yeah,
So,
to think Rakitic and Isco were in that team
yes,
playing against these kids, yeah.
exactly. And these are decorated players, right? I think this was like 5 Champions League, right? So, hence I'm saying is that thing whereby, is that is that thing whereby Pep trusts him, and you can, and whenever he's on the ball, for me, even the preseason, the first I saw him against Bayern preseason,
It
whereby
was
he dribbled
amazing.
against everyone, and I think he hit the pole. That's when I knew that there's something about this kid to have the confidence to dribble a good Bayern team, because that was Bayern's first team,
And he's 17. People forget this kid is just
right?
17.
To have the confidence to take him. Basically, you are schooling Mahrez on what wingers are supposed to do, right? I
Yeah,
hope Mahrez
relax.
learned.
Relax. You don't
No,
want the
no,
hope of Algeria to come.
no. What I'm saying is, I hope Mahrez learned that as a winger, you go down the byline, especially if you're playing with a striker. Go down the byline. You either shoot or you cross. That's what wingers do, right?
Can I ask something? Don't smoke on that. Even Hamza and Adam, what do you think is happening at City? Why are wingers all of a sudden scared to go at players? Even Foden keeps passing it backwards. Are they being taught by the manager? Oh, I don't
I
get what's
think so.
happening.
I think what Pep's trying to do is I think he's changing something with the wingers. I don't think he wants his wingers to take people on. I think he wants them to come back and come into the midfield or come back to the fullback, then the fullback to the midfield, and then they go up. I think he's trying to do something a bit different. But it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's working, right? So it's not a bad thing. But I think he's trying to do something different here. He's
I
not.
don't think it's working.
Do you think it's not working?
It's not working, and I'll tell you why. Right,
Go on.
Foden on the right. When Foden was playing on the right, he was taking people on. Right,
Yeah.
the Foden returned on the left against Liverpool. Right, and then we are all expecting him to skin Milner,
Yeah,
and
that's
he
true. Yeah.
couldn't. He couldn't, right? Hence, I was saying Foden on the left, I don't think is as effective as I've seen him on the right, especially beginning of the season where we were saying that Foden, Grealish, and Haaland was our best front three, whereby they were both playing inverted. But then that time, I think Walker was still around, and sometimes you had Cancelo overlapping, right? So I just think with Grealish, for him, more of what people don't understand is Grealish never had the output even at Villa. The thing Grealish used to do was he was good at getting Villa up the pitch. So his ball
Yeah, he
retention
was,
has
yeah.
always been good and attracting players and fouls. So the issue the issue with Grealish is he doesn't release the ball early enough once he pulls the player. Because the whole point of when you pull that player, release the ball because the space has been created. And that's one thing whereby even Gundo gets mad about Grealish every day, is because he pulls the player, there's space for that pass, and then he's scared. The thing, I think, the thing with Grealish is he's scared of misplacing the pass.
Gundo is on the warpath. He left 3 admirers. Now he's on Grealish, man.
Right. Whereby the thing though is Mahrez is the opposite, right? Mahrez wants to over dribble, whereby he'll kill the first player, then he wants to kill the second one. Right? And by the time he kills the second one, that first player who he killed is already back to life and is up. So it's like, dude, you've just undone what you came from doing. And then he wants to cut in. He won't shoot. He wants the easy path, or then he passes it. So it's more like, okay, you have this guy who does this, what frustrates, and then you have the other guy who. And Foden was our only hope, because when he was on the right, he was actually taking people on and passing the ball.
But that
now
was
he's
one
not
game.
doing
That was one game that it didn't work, right? Against Liverpool, it didn't work. But look at the other games we have played. We've got results, right? It's not like we've lost. We've got results, and I do understand where you're coming from, where you're saying it doesn't work. Obviously, against Liverpool, I'm 100% with you on that one. All City fans, bro, majority of them, including myself, was expecting Foden to take on the winger, do him up, whip it into the box, and Haaland will get there. I completely understand where you're coming from, Don Smoke. But if you look at the other games we have played, brother, like we have, we've got results. We've got the 3 points and it's worked. So that's
Hamza,
why I said it worked.
Hamza, the problem is the result is misleading, right? The thing is, we didn't win because of the wingers. We won because of a KDB
midfield and the attack. Agreed.
My problem
100%.
the problem is that's not sustainable, because these guys won't always produce magic game after game. Right?
Exactly.
Like we saw that. We saw it against
Borussia.
We saw it against Borussia Dortmund, right? Whereby at the end of the day, there was no magic, so we drew the game because these tactics didn't work. Hence, I'm saying at the end of the day, they can only take you so far against better opponents. Because now the thing is this: the further we go into Champions League, better opponents, the issue is better opponents won't always be, you won't always catch them lacking, and they won't give you these chances. So it's more like you rather have the system win you games than individual brilliance match up them relying on that, because eventually you just run out of luck.
100%. I'm with you on that one. 100%.
Yeah, I wanted to bring. Okay, you have anything else to say, Hamza, before we move on to this one?
No, I was just gonna say about Rico Lewis. I was just gonna quickly say, it's a start to great things. I feel like you've got to start somewhere in your career. I mean, we saw Trent, how he started off at Liverpool. He started, they put him into the squad, and look at the player he is now. Obviously, he's not as good as he is, but he's still, he's got trophies with him.
I get what you mean.
You get what I mean? Yeah. So it's a start to great things, and I feel like if Pep ends up, keeping him, if he wants to send him out on loan, I think the best thing for him is to go out on loan to a club like Borussia Dortmund, because we've got a very good relationship with that club. And I've heard reports as well that maybe Bellingham could potentially be with us. And if he is, I feel like if Pep Guardiola says, I don't see Rico Lewis getting into the squad next year, for example, that I would like to see him on loan to a club like Dortmund, because the Bundesliga is very good at developing young players. And I think it'd be really good for him. But for now, I would love to keep him. Worst case scenario, send him out on loan, but don't sell him. I don't want him gone. I want this kid to stay.
I have a strong feeling we might see him in that Chelsea game in the Carabao Cup. Just a feeling.
I think we will as well. I think we will as well.
Let me just to go to the chat. 130 says, "Oh God, how you doing, 130?" Grealish is pants. Almiron is levels above. Yeah, Almiron has answered Grealish on what he said. Liverpool is a shit team. Can't believe City lost to them. I can't believe either. But Michael, I know you're on an agenda on that Liverpool game.
Mike is still hurt.
Michael's still angry. Still angry.
Michael won't let go, man. Mike doesn't want to let go. So, what a waste of money Jack Grealish is. The worst Man City signing ever. Massive flop. Jesus Christ. People on Jack's back. Rico is better than Gomez. I think maybe Rico is more suited to the system because he's actually grown up in the system. The same way as Isbrand, he looks more comfortable because this is the system these kids have grown up on. Gomez was not with us, so not PSG or Madrid. No, we're not gonna get PSG or Madrid. We'll talk about the UCL in
we'll
a
talk
few
about that
minutes.
after. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about the UCL in a few minutes. Okay, let's go to this. Let's go to this game, guys. Obviously Pep is crazy as always, but
legendary photo, legendary.
you know what? Don't smoke. You and me, obviously, we were fresh off the game, so we did a show, and obviously, you and me talked about stuff we did not like in this game. But after I sat down and I have seen this Arsenal team that's not giving up, somehow they're finding a way, and somehow teams just look bare average to Arsenal at a point where one of my friends, Hugo, who also comes on the show, called me up when I was at work and say, Patrick, we're gonna have to do this ourselves, like Thanos. We're gonna have to take 6 points away from Arsenal as we did to Liverpool. Remember the time when we beat Liverpool?
Yeah.
By one point, we had to go. We drew and then we beat them at the Etihad. He says, I think other teams don't have the level, nor do they have the power to beat this Arsenal team. Unfortunately, it's us. It's on our toes now. It's on our shoulders. Now, when you think about all that, I think we have to bring this back. City fans watching and the guys in the panel, I sat down at work and thought about it. I think we're too spoiled sometimes at a point where we don't sit down and appreciate this team. They were down to 10 men and they still managed to dominate the game. They still had 80% at a point in time while they're down to 10 men. That is fascinating. That's phenomenal. I don't know if this Arsenal team, no matter how good they are, if they went down to 10 men against Fulham, they were going to be able to do that. But this is elite mentality. This is next level mentality. For you to continue dominating. I know. Can you imagine it? Did it? Okay, if let's say, for instance, you never knew the red card was given and they switched on the game midway, would you think that City are down to 10 men? No, it looked incredible. So I think this win meant a lot. That's the reason why Pep was extra happy. That's the reason why Haaland removed his shirt. So that's the reason why apparently the Etihad was on fire at the point where people thought they'd have won a final. But it's deserved, because if we lost this, we could have been saying another story today if Arsenal won. Do you get what I mean? I would have said Arsenal I have more points, like 5 points above City, which is a bit... We've seen it before, but I think would have been next level. So I think this mental. So what do you think, Hamza, now, after you've settled down, watched the Arsenal game, watched the weekend, watched Man United get slapped by our youth team 6-1, and our youth do all the celebrations that
the Ronaldo celebrations.
I know that was peak. That was peak.
Crazy.
Then you've watched Man United get slapped by Aston Villa. Good evening.
Crazy. I did not expect Emery to get a result. I'll be really honest. I thought Man United would have won that. I was shocked, to be honest, with the way, because you know what, United were doing well. They were on some sort of little run. They were playing good football. I feel like I saw the difference in that team. But then against Villa, my goodness, they were all over the place. They were just, I don't know. I was shocked. I'll be honest. I was very shocked. I did not expect them to lose that game. I'll be really honest. But I'm really happy for what's that kid's name? Carlos. But what's the second name? I can't say his second name.
Is it Borges? I don't know.
Borges?
I don't know.
Borges, amazing player.
Borges.
Yeah. Borges. Carlos Borges.
Very
amazing
fast.
Player. Amazing player. He is he is such an amazing player. I've not seen a young player like that after a very long time. After, of course, Mbappe and all these man and Haaland. He is generational. I'm telling you now. For the future, people will remember his name. He looks like the real deal. I'm telling you.
He's too fast, though, isn't it? It reminds me of
too
Mbappe,
quick.
Young Mbappe, yeah, too quick. Yeah,
he's too quick, brother. Patrick, he's so quick. I didn't realize. When Hamza told me about this, the Professor Hamza, he told me about him first time a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "Who's this kid?" Maybe Hamza's maybe he's just having a laugh. But when I watched his highlights and I watched him, I was like, "My God, we've got an amazing player here. We need to keep hold of this guy, let him break through to the first.
Don't let Dortmund get him.
If it's a lot, Patrick, I'll be really honest. If these young players go out on loan to these kind of teams, but they come back and they want to stay at City, then it's fine. But if they end up going on loan and their mentality changes and they want to end up leaving the club, I don't want that. I want them. I would rather them be told, listen, we're just sending you out on loan just for development reasons. That's it. You're going to stay at our club. We want you for the future, but just go to a different league and develop there more. Learn some new skills there, and then come back to us. You might end up being a much better player than you were last year. This might be helping you, because like I said, Dortmund's development for young players is very good. Like we've seen it. They are really good at developing players, and we have a very good relationship with them. So I don't mind sending these players out on loan, but I don't think I have a weird feeling we're going to keep these two, Rico Lewis and Carlos. I don't think we're going to send them out on loan.
Yeah, no, Carlos. I think if you look at him, he's a different sort of profile. You're right. He's like Mbappe. I watched him the way he was running and the way he's ruthless. He's no pity at all.
Unreal.
Like you remember Mbappe in the 17th Monaco versus us. The kid was so fast and has no pity at all.
Running at us. Patrick, I know. Running at us.
I know.
Like, oh my God.
So I watched him. I was like, this kid is fast. Here is Jack Grealish, new lawyer, Michael, says, tell Ashley to leave Grealish alone. This guy,
Michael, man.
Yeah, I don't know if Jack has promised you a Gucci band because for these past days, Michael, you've been defending Grealish so badly. I've never seen you defend somebody like this. He couldn't even defend Raheem, who's from his own country. I'm not worried at all. I saw the comebacks at the beginning of the season, and I said we will win the CL this season. This mentality to fight until the end, the mentality we wanted away at Madrid. Yeah, true. Okay, Borussia Dortmund don't like to take loan players. They will want to buy and put a buyback clause in. They do excellent business. They've got a striker right now who's doing so well. So Adam, we didn't have you yesterday or the day when me and Don Smokizo we were having the discussion on the Fulham game. How important is this Fulham game for our season now after what you've seen, what Arsenal did to that poor Chelsea side with that fraud Cucurella, who we were twerking for all season but never came to City?
Look, to be honest with you, you know me very well. Yeah, I'm not really asked about Arsenal. Arsenal won, big deal. But Chelsea, of course, I'm not surprised. Yeah, but I'm happy that we got the 3 points.
Okay, I think it's good. It's good we got the 3 points because I think, Adam, do you know what it is? Like Patrick said, if we didn't get the 3 points, I mean, I wouldn't be worried. I wouldn't be shitting my pants. Sorry for the language, but I wouldn't be, crapping my pants, saying, "Oh no, we've just drawn. We're going to drop points. We're not going to win this league." I wouldn't have panicked. But it's good to get the 3 points, and you know what? We deserve the 3 points because with 10 men, we played very well. We kept the ball majority of the game.
Fulham was embarrassing.
Fulham were rubbish, Patrick. We were all over these guys, and you know what? I was proud of the boys because I was like, you know what? There was 10 men on that pitch, and they all did double shifts on that pitch. They were working hard.
You know what happened? We also had 11th man. That was the fans. The fans were phenomenal. They were amazing. They were like 100%, picking up the team when they see the teams going down. Okay, so Don't Smoke. I brought something special for you, Don't Smoke. Before we go to the UCL prediction for the last 16, I brought something for you, Don't Smoke. First of all, this is your best friend, VAR. So, today, Don't Smoke. I don't know if you watched the Liverpool game. Trent Alexander, Trent Jeremiah Obasanjo Arnold pushed a player in the box, Sigurdsson. Same way as Cancelo. And some Liverpool fans have said, "Oh, the ball's going out." No, it wasn't. The ball only went out after the guy got pushed. But Trent's push was more intentional than Cancelo, which was just a body check. But they said the announcer said, "Ooh, that's the same as Cancelo's." So even the announcer said that. When you saw that, and guess what? I just found out. Don't Smoke. Do you know who was in VAR yesterday? Was also in VAR in the Liverpool game. How good is VAR? Even that game, even that goal they chopped, the Haaland one. I think it was so close. They chopped 2 close goals away from us. Then they gave that red card. Then today something happens, or am I just being a beta fan saying the Trent Alexander is not the same as Cancelo's?
No, okay. First, regarding VAR, right? The whole purpose of VAR, right, was overruling clear and obvious errors, right? Not to be a private detective whereby you bringing millimeter ruler lines, because it should be something that can be spotted with a naked eye, right? That's unless for example it's handballs, right? Then it's fine. You can go deep and that's it. But as for like especially offside and penalties, the thing is it the same? Is the same kind of impact, but it's not the same foul in the sense that he wasn't the last man, and he wasn't a clear path on goal, right? Because there was it's supposed to be a penalty and a yellow card because there was no intention for the ball, right? It was more like, okay, I'm getting you out of the way so you can create a goal scoring opportunity, right? The issue with Cancelo was it was direct in the middle and he's the last man, right? Whereby this guy, okay, it's in the box, it's a foul, yes, because you push anywhere on the pitch, that's a foul, right? Anywhere on the pitch is a foul, so it should be a penalty. Now, regarding VAR, from what I've seen, I feel as if these guys are using VAR to orchestrate results or decisions, right? It's like, okay, how do we want maybe the season to go or this game to go, and then whenever we get the chance, let us maneuver it that way, and we can justify by moving, especially with the offside. Those lines are not straight. If you ever see those lines, they always look skewed. I don't know if you've noticed, right? They always look skewed. So hence I'm saying, man, it's at times it's boring.
It is, isn't it?
No, it's very boring. And even yesterday, it was like, okay, what's the point?
Which one do you trust? Do you trust the VAR done by people or that new one done by the computer, which
No,
is
I love
coming in
the
the Champions League?
UEFA one. No, the UEFA one is because they use ball tracking in the ball.
Mm.
Right. So there's sensors all around the ground, and the sensor can pick up. I don't know if you've seen collision detection detective system. Like you see these Tesla cars and what whereby you can sense objects that are around you. Right. So
Yeah.
basically they use that. It's automated. No one intervenes. It just sends you a signal. It's similar to goal line technology. So if they can put that in the Premier League, man, I'll be so happy, man, because these refs, man, they are beyond useless. And
I
when
think
and the issue is you put the
interest,
same
their
refs,
self-interest, yeah.
you put the same refs in the VAR, so you're putting useless, incompetent people with a competent technology. You're still gonna get incompetence because the people operating VAR are incompetent to begin with.
Don't smoke. You know what I would love one day? You see how the managers and the players have a uh, like like have a press conference after the match.
Yes,
I would love
yes, the
one
refs
day
should explain.
just the ref to explain or even put the decision on the big screen so that way the ref can see and the fans can see the reasoning to
In rugby,
why he
they do
didn't
it.
get that.
In rugby, basically,
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
can
you
hear
can,
the
yeah,
ref.
you
what
can
they're
hear
saying.
You hear the ref whenever
you
it's a
can hear
TMO, right?
his reasoning for why
Explain
he gave the
why,
foul and everything.
and then the operators also you also hear the operators telling you why he should overrule or why he should stay with his decision. We want to hear that conversation.
It's
Do you
ridiculous,
do
but it
you do
wouldn't.
you, do you do you seriously think the Prem would want you to hear that though?
No, that's what I'm saying to you. The Premier are protecting these refs. In a sense, they're protecting these refs.
Because to be honest with you, I doubt they even have a conversation. Maybe the VAR just play a song in his ear and he just listens to it and recites the lyrics of the song. That's what it seems like to me. You have a guy just talking to himself and no one is responding in the background.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You look, guys. Before we guys like the vid, keep watching. Before we go to the next topic, Carl or Gundororian requested this, but he's not here, which is quite funny because he made me add one of these for the topic. He said he would like to have a segment and talk about this. So, guys, I want to talk about Julian Alvarez, man.
Is that
The reason
is that Sergio Aguero Jr. there? Ah, there it is. There it is. There it
yeah,
is.
I'm not talking about Julian Alvarez, man. Look, any Premier League team right now, including Liverpool, can take this man and this man can be their first starter as a striker. Now, Julian Alvarez, Don't Smoke Adam and Hamza, bagged a very beautiful goal in the Sevilla game. And that goal he bagged, majority of the players we had last season as forwards would never back that goal. They will stop to wait for somebody so they can do a tap in and pass a tap in, or they'll freeze in front of goal and then somebody will take it. And or What would happen if one of our players is they'll try to dribble the keeper and the keeper will take it off their legs? That's last year. Guys, this man, Julian the one Alvarez. Yes, I made another name up for him. Julian the one Alvarez is a baller. The finishing he's doing is incredible.
Patrick, I don't want to sound negative, but you know the thing that it seems to like somewhat say, it's not say it not annoys me, but say more frustration is that the way that sometimes we play as if when Julian Alvarez is on the pitch, we play as if Haaland's still on the pitch. The kid, when you look at both of the goals that he scored for the Sevilla game and this one, he thrives when you give him the through ball. Yeah. But we are, for some reason, I don't understand sometimes with these some of our players. We're playing
Yeah,
as if
but
he is Haaland. You've got to play to
no,
the player's strength. He's
no,
not
no.
Haaland. He
But
has his
Adam,
strengths, and
but
Haaland has
Adam,
his strengths.
But Adam, every time he's played, it's not every time he's played and things haven't gone well. He's always played not with the same team Haaland is playing. It's a disjointed team. This is the first time in the Fulham game where it's as if Pep just removed Haaland from the team and put Alvarez. This is the first time me and Don't Smoke say this other Sevilla game. We said we just want Pep to just remove Haaland from the team when Haaland is injured. Put Alvarez. Do you see as soon as Alvarez got a through ball, like the same Gundo gave Haaland in the other game, he bagged it. The reason why I love this guy, Adam, is the way he scores is how Mbappe does. They hit it on the roof where the keeper will not catch it, whether you like it or not as a keeper. And you know the keeper put fingertips to it, but there's nothing he could do. Leno had fingertips on that ball. So welcoming our man Veta. Veta, what do you think of this guy, man? I think this guy is a blessing in disguise for the fact that to have a second striker who's dangerous. Even somebody on a panel said, "This is unfair, Man City. You bench, you bench Haaland, then this guy comes on." Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no escape.
Yeah.
I say this in the group, Veta. I know you've been busy. Happy birthday to your missus, but I said this in the group that imagine last year in that semi-final in the Champions League, we had Haaland or Alvarez, people who can finish. That game is ended 7-3.
Yeah, that when others want to say it's unfair, they can say that as much as they want, but it's not unfair because again, it's not like we broke crazy bank to get this talent. This is City identifying young talent, getting them early, not getting established stars, right? So iron sharpens iron. The fact that Alvarez and Haaland are training together and watching what each other are doing and both competing to get on that pitch, both competing to show Pep, hey, you should be starting me. These guys are taking their games to that next level. And I agree with you when you say if we put Alvarez into that same 11, right, that Haaland's been cooking with, and he's getting that same service, that same balance on the pitch, man would be damaging this league as well because he has that extreme confidence and he's dual-footed. And what he did, and you see this from many strikers, true strikers, and we didn't have that, unfortunately, as great as players that we had and have moved on. They were quality, but they don't put the ball in the net. They kick it on the net. He's picking where he wants to put it, where the keeper isn't, or he's going to put it where it's going to be difficult for the keeper to save. And that's what him and Haaland do. They make it difficult for the keeper.
Yeah, it's a sure goal, yeah.
I love that about him. Not only that, the way he is constantly moving, and it's in a different manner, like Adam was mentioning. We can't look to kind of service him the same way we do Haaland, because yes, they're both making movements, but Alvarez, you can tell, he wants to kind of draw the defender and create space. The way he curled that run and Gundo found him, that happens a lot within the game, but we don't quite look for it as of yet. And he's going to need reps for it. But I love the talent. I love the talent.
I jumped, man. I when I saw that goal, I jumped. What about Don't Smoke? What do you think of this this Alvarez fella?
Man, I don't know how many times I've said it, man. The way he, especially even with his weaker foot, we saw it against the Sevilla game, right? This guy put the ball in the roof of the net. That is something you have to do intentionally, right? Whereby he knows where the goal is, and he doesn't even look at the goal. He just looks at the ball. Okay, let me hit the ball at the sweet spot. And that reminds me of Aguero used to do it, especially with his left, whereby they let the ball run. Right, he lets the ball run, and then he hits it. Man, the thing is, regarding those runs, I think that's the consequence of Pep playing Bernardo and Gundo in the middle, right? Because it's for me, it's De Bruyne who normally spots those runs, and he hits, and he'll put the ball around you. And normally, if De Bruyne is not playing in the center, the only next best person who could do this is a Gundo, right? And at the time, most time, Gundo's trying to retain the ball, so you're not gonna get those, man. Is that and when you look at how much he cost, that's what people don't talk about it. We got him for less than 20 million, right? It was one of the bargains of the season. Because if you look at the other side of the other side called Liverpool, that guy who cost him an arm and a leg, even if he kicked it with both feet, even if he used both feet to kick that ball, it wouldn't be as sweet as that. So kudos to our scouting team, right?
Yeah. I love bargain shopping. I love bargain shopping. I'm one of those, and I'm showing my age. I'm one of those that used to go through that bin and find those discounted DVDs of those quality movies. I was that guy. I love quality. I love quality pickups.
You mean that basket where they just throw all the CDs and DVDs just mixed together without sorting them out?
They don't sort them; they just throw them. But the thing is, out of all of those, there's still some quality, top-level movies, the Denzels that you'll find in there. I love that City again. Alvarez is Martin mentioned this. Alvarez is a player that would start anywhere else.
He would.
Anywhere else, Mans is starting, and we have him and Holland. Yo, we need to get the most out of him, and we have been. I love this. I love it.
Yeah, I was happy for him. So, Martin, welcome. Martin, so we're talking about Alvarez. We're just giving the kid a bit of shine, just a bit of a moment, because I know that he is in the shadow of the Viking, because regardless what he did, his first goal against Fulham was beautiful, but the Viking comes in, he shows I'm the man again with that header, then the penalty. But I know I don't want to hype him at the point where I want to give him pressure. I don't want that Jesus situation where we ended up putting Jesus in the center. But this kid, it's the finishing, Martin, for me. It's finishing like how Mbappe does, where he puts it where you won't find it. But it's you have to measure that ball very well. It's between the keeper, because Reno caught it, but you can't. There's nothing you can do. It's gonna go in. It's just that's what I think we need. If your number 2 comes in, the quality mustn't drop. And I just think like Alvarez is actually a baller, because that's what we had. That's the issue we had. Somebody drops, the quality used to drop so low. So now with Alvarez. So what is your thinking as Alvarez as our number 2? Because he seems to be also very ambitious. He doesn't want to give up. You're on mute. You put yourself on mute. You muted yourself before you spoke.
He's always putting himself on mute, ain't he? Even on Twitter Spaces, it's always on mute.
I have total mixed feelings on this with Alvarez.
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, yesterday was fantastic. Finish, sublime, absolute quality. The ball, the finish, everything about the move was just quality. What I'm trying to not do as a fan is go where everyone else has gone, and he's Aguero, he's this, he's that. And Aguero was never number 2 anywhere. To me, I just want him, keep saying this, and Vader's laughing. I just want him to be Alvarez. Just let the lad enjoy it, because it's so hard for him to play number. I'm a little bit frightened we're going to end up back in a Jesus situation if we're not careful. Simply because if you're Alvarez, you've got Haaland in front of you, and out of all the big games, Haaland's the guy who's generally going to play. And then you've got to think to yourself, because I've heard that, well, it'll be fine playing in other games. Well, no. Sterling wasn't,
because one day he'll want to play.
No,
he'll want to play all the time.
But the thing to keep important, right? And sometimes it can be easily dismissed because it's not of every player's mentality. But if Alvarez is of the type where he believes in his ability, and he believes that he is just as good or better than Haaland, and he makes sure that he's ready. If Pep is seeing that what isn't working on that pitch is involving Haaland, right, or involving some combination, if he can look and know I'm going to then put you on the pitch and you're going to deliver, that's, as a player, you want to be ready. You want to be ready to do that, right? And Pep hasn't been the sentimental type to, well, actually, let me stop that, because there's some games where we've been stressing Pep, make a change, put on some subs, and he hasn't. But I think when it comes down to later in the season, we need to get a result. It's not working with this current 11. He can look and say, Alvarez, I'm trusting in you. You're coming on, right?
To Martin's,
Or, sorry, go ahead, Don.
okay, no, and to Martin's point, right? Okay,
you're good.
All right. To Martin's point, right? Initially, when Alvarez came in, right, I thought he could play on the right. Right. That's how I initially saw, whereby he'd be a direct replacement for Jesus, whereby he could take the ball, go on the right, and assist or score. But the more I see him play, he's a striker, right? He is not a winger, right? And that what brings that brings to light the concern which Martin brings. So at the end of the day, for confidence wise, right? Imagine, let's say, for example, you score a hat trick. And then the next game, knowing that in the next game, regardless of how I perform, I'll be on the bench. Right? Psychologically, that does affect you, because it's more like, okay, it doesn't matter what I do. Right? When the big game comes, I'm not number one. Right? So then now it's a question of mentality in the sense that am I content enough with my role? Because I think Alvarez is around the same age as Haaland, because it's not like, okay, he has a few years on.
He's the same age.
He's even older.
Yeah, few months older. Yeah, just
right. It's not like, let's say, he's a 17-year-old whereby he knows, like, you know what, there is time, right? It doesn't. So it's more like, okay. And at the end of the day, we must understand that players are ambitious, especially if you know you're good enough. Because this kid plays for the Argentina national team. It's not like he's an up and coming player. No, he's going to the World Cup. And he could be in folklore history if they win the World Cup. Just imagine being a World Cup winner, then you come back to the bench, right?
So that's where the situation will become difficult. Is that what you're saying? That's where the situation will be difficult. I don't know. Didn't he know what he was coming to, though? Didn't he know what he was coming to? That yeah.
If you're Sitter, and let's be honest, we all know we're trying to get this release clause out of Haaland's deal. Because we all know in the summertime, City will offer Haaland a brand new deal.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't, to me, like Don just said, if you're scoring 3 or 4, this was Jesus' problem. And listen, I'm not saying they're the same players, but Jesus used to score 2 or 3 goals. Like, you remember the game against Real Madrid in the Champions League? He was phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he'd go out the next game.
Exactly.
And then you sat there and you go in, well, what can I do then? I'm outstanding. I get man of the match, but I know a guy who's on 400 grand a week, probably going to be on 500 or 600, 700 grand a week come next summer. He's going to go in ahead of me because they're not going to bench him. And then, but what we're doing as fans, like Tom said, we're trying to shoehorn the guy to the wing now just to get him in. Let's get him to the wing. Let's get him to the wing. And it's like, well, what? No. Let's go and play. As fans, we do it all the time because we love a guy. We try and shoehorn them everywhere. But then when it goes wrong, we all go on Spaces and bitch and moan about it and go, what's he doing there?
You're not wrong there, man. You're not wrong there.
We can't win, really, can we?
Well, the hype man for Alvarez was Carl. Carl told me that he wants a whole segment about Alvarez. So let's keep moving. So it says we need 4 backs in January. Cancelo, Walker, and Gomez are liabilities.
They're not going to sell 3 players in January, Abdallah.
No,
you know, Patrick. Yeah, I feel hence at times, right. This is it's almost, you see, like the issue at Chelsea. They got so many players they need to get rid of, but realistically, they can't get rid of all those players because they won't get
they can't.
replacement for all those players at the same time. So now the thing is, we don't want to go on a left back splurge, whereby we have 30 left backs now, right? And then because at the end of the day, every player will have a deficiency. That's just life, man. Right? They're humans after all. If you get a player who's defensive, then we'll be complaining that no, he never overlaps, or he's too. If you get a player who's attacking, or he never defends. So then, man, it's difficult because at the end of the day, you can't start Gomez in a serious game. We're gonna lose because we saw against Sevilla that corner. That was schoolboy defending, right? And he's not an EDS kid. This kid is over 20. But then you have Cancelo as well, who has concentration issues. But he needs to start. So it's a question of, this is where Pep has to earn his bucks as a manager. Do I create a new formation? That can hide his deficiencies, but we still maximize the best attributes of these other players? Because we can't just keep buying. Okay,
we had it though, didn't we? When Walker was a right back, Cancelo was free to do whatever he wants because Walker would be in the back with the other two defenders and stop all the counters, and the other guys would know the right hand side is handled by Walker. So Cancelo used to look like a star when Walker was on full force. But as soon as we removed Walker, that's when Cancelo has to defend now, has to be asked for certain things. But
what do you do with Rico? What do you do with Rico?
We spoke about him. Believe it or not, Martin. Before you came, Rico was the other topic. The guys think that we shouldn't send him out on loan.
No, they shouldn't do. But what I mean is, he could be your fourth choice. I know he won't be, but he's your fourth choice fullback you could throw in. I'm not saying, because I genuinely think. I'm sorry if you got over this. I think he'll do with Rico what he did with Foden. And he'll just dip him in and dip him out. And
I think there's too much talent, Martin, to ignore him. You're right. There's too much talent.
So do you want to go and spend? So I mean, you can't just go and splurge 30, 40, 50 million quid on a fullback who you kind of, and then because this is the problem. Like, you can't just keep buying because then we're right back into this situation. You got to remember why we got rid of Sterling, why we got rid of Jesus. Why Zinchenko all went? Because they weren't getting game time.
Yeah.
And then we want to go and spring another 3 or 4. Let's do you know what I mean? It just
we'll end up in the same scenario again.
Yeah, we've got to decide what we want to do.
I wouldn't spend though. I would look at Esbrand and Rico and try to get them in. Esbrand is now 19 years old, 10 20 very soon. Rico is about 10, 18. I just feel like Rico is too talented. You know, like the same way when Liverpool got Trent. Yes, Trent is not good defensively. I'm not saying Rico. Rico looks good defensively, but say some talent you find Martin and Veta and Hamza and Don and Adam. Some talent you find, you can tell from far. Even the announcer said this kid is 17 and this kid can play football. He's got feet.
Yeah. You know what it is, Patrick? Like what Martin said. At some point, as a club, you got to take a risk with these young kids. At some point, you got no choice but someone to just take a risk. If it's giving them something like chucking them in like a Rico Lewis, playing him against the Southampton, and that means resting Walker. It's like you're somewhat making him learn and adapt into the first team, and you're somewhat pushing him. So you like somewhat manage the game time. So if they were playing like a Southampton or a Wolves. What is to say we can't put a Rico Lewis and rest Kyle Walker? You're somewhat managing Walker's fitness in a sense, and also giving Rico Lewis the game time to develop as a young player in a sense.
I'd like to answer this, guys. I'd like to answer this. Why are people saying it as if Walker has always been injured? It's just recently he's had the two. People, Martin, whenever you see people tweeting out Walker's stay fit to save his life, something like this, I'm like, can't stay fit. It's just now.
That's the narrative. Go back. All right, then. Here's an example. We talked about in 5 minutes ago, Alvarez. Look at the tweets of Alvarez yesterday. and on Wednesday night. Now go and look at all the screenshots of Alvarez from last Saturday against Leicester.
Well,
It's
okay, so
that's what I
He's
mean.
not
But
wrong.
in a
He's
way,
not wrong.
yeah,
He's not wrong.
yeah,
everyone's
That's the
doing it,
internet.
yeah.
That's
That's
the
the
internet,
internet.
right.
But
and then it
if,
becomes
if
the narrative.
yeah, if they were gonna say Stones can't stay fit, we could agree to that. He's been inconsistent over many years while at City, but Walker's been really the last 2 years. If we want to be critical, we could point out, yeah, man wasn't there the latter stage of last season for us, and as a
Because he
result of
played
that,
a lot of games. Because he played and
yeah,
he sacrificed himself. Yeah, in the other game, in the
You
Atletico
know,
Madrid game.
Patrick, I think the issue is this, right? At the end of the day, based on a player's attributes or quality, determines how long he can sustain or whatnot. Walker is an athlete, right? So his game relies on explosiveness. Now, anyone who's old knows that the older you get, the less your body can handle that explosiveness. Hence, you're gonna get
Yeah,
injuries on your joints
yeah.
and whatnot.
No
Walker is
idea
over
what it
30.
means.
Exactly. And Martin, yeah, right. So is that thing of whereby at the end of the day, unless you manage his minutes based on which games you feel are the most important where you need him in, he's gonna break down. It's like a horse, right? You keep a horse, you overuse a horse, eventually one day he just falls down. Right. So is that thing we have to understand that is the nature of his game. So eventually we have to find a way of how to use him wisely because he can't sustain that kind of explosiveness for like let's say 10, 15 years based on because you have other left backs where they don't rely on the pace. But based on the game we play, hence Walker becomes critical because he's not just a right back. He's the guy who almost plays sweeper for us.
yeah,
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
yeah.
he does. Yeah, and other
And
people are more
when
comfortable.
healthy,
Go ahead, Veda.
when healthy, he's the absolute best. We trust him to take on whoever the attacking left forward is for the opposing team. We're like, we got Walker back there. Not only are we going to trust that if he does get by, that he's going to be able to do his thing defensively, but we also trust that he's going to fit within the system from what Pep wants. So I want the man healthy back because again, when we have a proper rotation, we kind of see where Pep wants to put Walker, wants to put Cancelo, how he's gonna maybe deal with some of these subs with the youngsters when we have games in hand or games in control, I should say. Then we'll be in really good shape. Walker's a huge blow to this year with him being injured, and you can see Pep with all these different rotations.
Like when
Really
Walker
good.
is fit, Veta, when he is fit, he is the best right back in the league. Arguably the
Yes.
world, but he is the best
I'm
right
with
back
you.
in the league when he is fit. This guy is unreal. When he's fully fit and he's playing week in, week out, he is unbelievable in the system. Walker was, I'm not going to lie to you, I feel like Walker was one of Pep's best signings. He's up there
He was. He
in
was.
the
He
ranks.
was. He was.
Yes.
He was a really good signing for us. When
Well,
we first signed him for 50 million, I thought, you know what? It's 50 million on another fullback, but I trust Pep. If he wants that, he wants that. Let's see how he does. I was a bit skeptical with him. I'll be honest. I wasn't sure about him. I thought he'll win league titles with us, but will he be good? And he reached expectation. He went over expectation.
Yeah.
In fact, he was amazing. We
Yeah.
bought him for 50. If you think about it now, 50 million was a bargain for this guy for what he's
Yeah, it
done
was,
with
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
So
He's been amazing for us.
50 million as well, right? And what's evidence is the fact that for me that why it always ends the debate of who's the best right back for England because Southgate just shows you whenever Walker's fit, it's not even a debate. He plays for the England team, right?
Yeah.
So and he's very critical to our system, man.
And I need to stop getting triggered every time I see this Trent is the best right back stuff. I'll admit I need to stop getting triggered when I see this.
You always
taking
get
the bait.
triggered
Far from it.
with Liverpool.
Stop taking the bait. Stop taking the
It's
bait.
just
Okay, let's move.
Liverpool,
You're right.
I
You're
know it is. Let's move on to this, guys. This is our last topic for the night. Guys, like the vid. All the guys you're watching. This is such a great partner. We've got Veda Games, Hamza, Don't Smoke. We've got Martin, the legend himself, aka he calls himself the dinosaur. I don't know why, but anyway, we've got Adam. So Martin, this goes straight to you.
I know what he's gonna say already. I know exactly what he's gonna say.
Yeah.
Why does
Go,
everyone
go,
come to me on
go.
Champions League stuff?
I know what you're gonna say, Martin. I know exactly what your answer's gonna be.
Mate,
But go
stop
on,
laughing.
Okay,
Martin's desperate for this.
Yeah, Martin.
Do you know what, Patrick? We've
Yeah.
got to win it as a football club. I'm desperate to win it. It is the best competition, the most prestigious competition in world football. We have got to win this competition.
Okay,
Mancunian humor right there.
See, none of you expected that one.
Yeah, we did. So, Martin, we've reached the round of 16 again. Yes, again we've reached it. We topped the table again. we seem under Pep. We top the table and we get the most points. We even topped the table when PSG were in our group, and people thought PSG would top the table.
Pep will get to the last four, mess around, and we'll go out again.
So, Martin, looking at
Seen this before.
looking at that, looking at the number twos this season. Obviously, we cannot play Liverpool, who came number 2 in that group. We cannot even play the guys who came number 2 in our own group, which is Dortmund. So I think it's AC Milan, Inter, Leipzig. Guys, help me out here. Who else? AC Milan,
PSG.
PSG, and Porto.
And Club Brugge.
So looking at all these amazing teams, who would you rather see picked out of that pot on Monday? Do you want to go full hardcore and say, give me PSG so that we can get them out of the way?
No. From a selfish point of view, I'd love PSG because there's a chance we go out. No, I'm only joking.
And the misery.
You know me, domestic treble all day long. Of course, you want Club Brugge. You want Club Brugge or Porto. Those are the two that ideally you want. Will we get them? I don't know. The thing is with this competition, if you are going to win it, you're going to have to face someone big at some point.
Yeah, you have to, yeah.
And then it becomes a question because, listen, and listen, all jokes aside, do we get to the last four and then we all get, in case we don't win, we get knocked out by Real Madrid and then we all go on a moan again? Or do we, you know, I don't, this is what gets me with this competition, though. It's
annoying, isn't it? It's annoying.
I can literally just give me a hat with a name and I'll pull the winner out because this is what it is.
Yeah.
I've just had this debate on my show and Vader's laughing his head off. I know he is, but you don't have to be the best to win it. You
have to be effective. You have to be effective, and you have to be effective in moments.
Yeah, you've got to. Yeah, ideally, I want Club Brugge or I want Porto. That's
Porto
what I want.
Porto again, that dirty like Atletico Madrid.
I've told you, I don't want Leipzig and I don't want any of the Milan clubs.
What's with the Milan clubs, though? You said this last time when I was talking to you. What's with you and the Milan clubs?
When AC Milan want to play, they're on fire. It depends how you turn up. Going to the San Siro is not an easy task.
Yeah, it's not an easy place. It's not. Yeah,
it's
a
hard day at the office. Inter Milan is not the Inter Milan it used to be, but it's still got Zeko. They've still got Martinez. They've still got some very good players. I just feel an Italian club. We always struggle, like yesterday and Leicester, 10-man wall up.
Exactly.
We know Italian clubs are very good at it, and I think we'll just end up. It'll become a very frustrating tie, and I think like I never said this. I've never said this before in my life, but do you know part of the reason why I thought we didn't get past Real Madrid, and I should have said this earlier. I thought we mentally drained ourselves after the two-legged Atletico game.
Atletico Madrid,
I agree,
yes, I said
100%.
that. Yeah,
100%.
I think we got to a point where we mentally.
I agree, but disagree. I think it was the series of games because remember that spell we had at Madrid.
Twice,
We had Liverpool. Yeah, we had Liverpool twice. That was the killer. That was the killer.
And that Mahrez miss at the Etihad. I think it's all started with that.
Because we had bodies
Look
dropping.
at the fixtures.
Yeah.
That's a great point we've just made. That you don't know if you've got a nice set of fixtures around you in the Premier League at the same time as the next stage. You're great. If you've got Arsenal, Liverpool, and Chelsea,
yeah, we should actually look at that. We should
game.
look at when the maybe not this round, but maybe the next round.
When they get picked, I think, or when everything gets picked, and
look at what fixtures we've got.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's a nice comment here. Great show.
We're gonna play Arsenal twice. I think we have to play Arsenal twice.
Yeah, we have to.
Game.
We have to after the cancellation. Inter
And
Milan
then what's
worse
is if you make a deep run in the cups, then you have those knockout games around there as well, right? So you probably have a semi-final FA Cup or whatnot. So I think that's when it's more like you have to sacrifice. You have to pick which trophy to sacrifice. And we saw last season Pep sacrificed the FA Cup for the Champions League.
He did, and I want that FA Cup again. I haven't seen one in
Call me, hey Patrick, call me crazy, but I think I'm the only one, on the panel that actually thinks, that I don't mind getting AC Milan or Inter Milan or even RB Leipzig or PSG or Porto, because I think we're well capable on our day beating any team.
You know,
I'm the only one on the panel that actually thinks that you beat Inter Milan and AC Milan.
But we're not saying that we can't beat them. We're just saying in terms of their style of play.
It will be a long 180 minutes of football, whereby we're trying to break down two buses.
Okay, what about Leipzig? Leipzig are open, so let's go punch for punch like we did last time with them. Is that what you don't want any of you guys?
But they'll make you tired. So it's like at the end of the day, you're trying to find a balance, right? Those guys like they're on drugs, literally, right? You're gonna run with them. You're gonna run with them.
That's too hyper. You're right.
Bruges is the best. No, Bruges is
can we just have Club Bruges and go and like win 9-0 and just have an easy round?
So Bruges and Benfica. Bruges and Benfica.
Wait, can we have Shakhtar?
No,
I think Shakhtar make it second too.
No. They finished second and they're good.
Did they? I don't think they did.
I think so.
No,
Leipzig top their group.
Leipzig was.
I thought Leipzig got through.
Leipzig, Shakhtar, they gone to Europa.
But
they would be nice.
I mean, Pat, if you want to go and support Arsenal United and disappear for a bit of Europa, off you go, man.
Do you think I'll support United, Martin, after our EDS team?
I don't know. You sounded so excited then for a bit of Thursday night football.
Nah. Okay, so what about you, Hamza? What do you feel? Who do you want in this round? And let's just talk about interest this season, especially. I want to divert it away from Man City. Let's talk about the team you actually fear. Apart from the team we're going to play, but what's the team that's been feared right now? Because if I'll be honest with you guys in the panel, I am still scared of Madrid this season because those guys are just inevitable.
I fear Pep. The only person I fear in the Champions League is Pep.
Oh man, God, this Champions League talk. You know what, Patrick? I'll be really honest. What Martin said, right? Club Brugge or Porto, I won't mind. That's ideally I would like. But if we do end up getting Inter Milan, AC Milan, or PSG, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, no. I'm just going to think, you know what? The two Milan teams, they just sit back. It's going to be a long day, but I think we'll get the job done. PSG, they've got that front three is very good. Don't get me wrong.
We've had PSG twice. No, more than twice.
Exactly.
2016 PSG.
That game's boring.
Yeah, it was boring. No, Veta, honestly, if we get PSG again, I will not be worried. We'll beat them. They've got that front three, right? They've got Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi. They're special. Don't get me wrong. But the rest of that team, they're not. Look at their midfield compared to ours. We're gonna dominate that whole game. We'll beat them. I'm not worried. But ideally, Patrick, I would obviously like what Martin said, Club Brugge or Porto. If we do get anyone else, I won't be scared. And you know what it is, right? The one thing that really annoys me as well, like Martin said, if we get to the last four and, Pep does a little experiment and we end up going out.
Haaland as CDM. Haaland as CDM.
Yeah, Haaland at centre back even. I don't know, maybe Haaland in goal. But the thing is that frustrates me the most, right? When we get if we do end up messing around in the last four and we get knocked out, right? We don't get to the final or even the quarters, we get knocked out.
And we've sacrificed the FA Cup.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The problem is these rival fans. There's a lot of our fan base on Twitter. I'm sure you guys know anyway. They will mention that Champions League, right? But they'll forget about everything else that Manchester City have done in the league. That annoys me, but that's why I really want to go far in this Champions League. I really want this Champions League. But if we don't get it, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, you know what? If Pep left, right? I spoke to a City fan. He said, if Pep left without a Champions League, it's a failure. I said, you've lost your marbles. You've lost your marbles because what he's done in the league, if he didn't do that, Klopp's won everything. So I'm not. But the thing is, I'm not desperate for the Champions League. I'm not really desperate. I'm not itching for it. If we do end up getting the Champions League, brilliant. It's an icing on top of the cake, like Martin said a couple of weeks ago on Twitter. It's just an icing on top of the cake. The main thing is I want to dominate England, right? If we do get Europe, if we do get Champions League, it's fine. But we need to remember one thing as well, guys. Just quick, one more point. UEFA and us, you know how the relationship is. You know how it is. You understand? In this Champions League,
but UEFA are they're cozying up to us, right? I think, hey, #1 club of the year, UEFA award. You know what I mean? Like they're cozying up. They're seeing what City's about. So
you know how I like to describe UEFA. How I like to describe UEFA is that crazy ex that seems to always want to think that she will get back with you. That's how I like to describe UEFA as a crazy ex.
You're not wrong.
That's the funny thing, right? When we talk about regarding league success, right? I look at it this way, right? The fact that Liverpool were about to win their second PL title, and they're already labeled as one of the best Premier League team shows you that at the end of the day, the media know what we are, but they just don't want to give us that credit, right? You see what I'm saying? So is that thing of whereby it's as if we've become bored of our success and we just want the next shining toy, which is this Champions League. But
like Patrick, if we end up getting this Champions League this year, everyone else is going to say, "Oh, you've got one Champions League, go get another one then." And go get another one. It's not going to end.
Forget all that we've done with Pep. If any other team accomplished even half, there will be posters around of that team everywhere.
Yeah,
explaining about how this team took football, shredded it into pieces, redefined football. But because it's us, they will never give us that credit. So
exactly.
I learned this early.
I'm disappointed when our own fan base don't see the agenda, the big picture, and they start belittling. Because at the end of the day, it's still us. It's still us against the world when you look at it.
100%.
Can I just ask a quick question, Hamza? What was that place? What was that place you mentioned then? Twitter. I've never heard of it. Can you send me a link to it? I've never heard of it.
I'll send you a link. Don't worry. I'll host the space next week. You'll be there. Don't worry, mate. I'll get you.
You know what, Martin? Hamza is such a liar. Off camera, he showed us his Champions League tattoo on his left arm. So he's ready.
You know what? I can imagine it. I'm starting to think Vater's a bit of a Champions League lover. You know, I'm starting to think he's staying in there with it a little bit.
No, let's see. Here's the thing.
Vater, what do you think? Yeah, Vater. Let's go to Vater. Vater, what do you think?
Here's the thing with Champions League.
Yeah.
And when rivals are talking, literally, I feel like it's like flies or gnats are around me. I don't care what they have to say with regards to this Champions League because
it's annoying.
To your point, they dismiss everything else we've won. They act like it's been a trophyless season. You know what I mean? So I don't go for that talk. And I 100% agree when it comes down to what I want to win. What I've been witnessing and looking for so many years has been those Reds across the street during their peak times, winning Premier League after Premier League after. I've seen what that meant, and I've seen how their fan base, their love, and their media darlings, all that stuff. I saw how it grew off of that. That's what I want, and I don't want to sacrifice anything with regards to this possible three-peat. This possible three-peat is the if you were to tell me, and if there was a Bible here, I put my hand on the Bible. If you were to say Champions League or Premier League this year, I'm not lying to you. I want the three-peat. I want the three-peat. And this is where the problem comes from as well, because now when the season's over, I'm not trading anything. I want the Premier League, and then the icing on the cake or the cherry on top. That would be Champions League. I don't want it in reverse. I don't want to sacrifice one season for the other. But here's the crazy part. Here's where I'm a little insane. Now, if we look at the season 2023, 2024, and you're going to ask me, it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to tell you I want another Premier League before I want the Champions League. Like, that's the vicious cycle that I'm in. So I'm sorry if many of you outside expect something different. It's not the case with regards to me in this case.
Big thing, Vader, on that. Look at the Etihad yesterday. 95th minute when we scored that. Now, this is, let's be honest, this is not Liverpool. This is not United. That was not Chelsea, Arsenal. That was no offense, no disrespect. That was Fulham. Who we all went in there and we thought guaranteed 3 points, win 3, 2-3-1.
Yeah.
In the 95th minute, we celebrated like that was Aston Villa last year when we won the league. Pep Guardiola told his squad, walk around that pitch and say thank you to every single one of those fans.
Oh, can I ask you, Martin? We wanted to ask you this yesterday, but obviously you were at the game. Me and Dawn, I was sitting here, Martin, and I put the pillow on my face because I was like, it's Haaland, but no, this is the last shot. How do you feel in that stadium? Because even Haaland has come out, a guy who says he never gets faced. In the interview, he said, I was shaking. And he says he was shaking. Martin, how did you feel when you saw that pen and then you saw Haaland? Obviously, half of my heart was like, it's Haaland. But to see Haaland again, he went like, oh my God.
I don't think you're human. If you're in the 95th minute, I don't care if that was Messi, Ronaldo, R9 or whatever, or Pele. You're still that little bit nervous in the 95th minute, especially the way the game had been going. But I don't remember the goal because, as I told Vader 10 minutes ago, I ended up 2 or 3 rows in front of me, falling over and hurting all my legs. So I had a great time. I celebrated by jumping over the row in front. So crazy. I mean, the whole point is I've not seen that kind of celebration in the Champions League yet.
It was written in the media that apparently it erupted, and it was as if they've won a final.
Yeah, I've not seen. Listen, I've been to all the home Champions League games, and we've celebrated. We've done well against Real Madrid and that. We never celebrated it like we did yesterday. That was just Fulham. No offense.
Martin,
we did a lap of honor. And that's what I mean.
Go ahead, Don.
The league it means more for some reason. Maybe to us as a fan base, to us, it means that bit more. And I think Liverpool and United up what's the Champions League. And I do think it's just simply down to what has happened in the past with us. With that, we still boo the Champions League anthem before the game.
Yeah, Martin, to your point, one thing I've noticed, it's as if Pep, it's like he's come more to us, the fans, like of late, whereby it's as if he came from the academy. Like the longer he stays, if you see how connected he is, even Pep has always been this emotionless guy, very professional, do the job, go home. But if you see him now, nothing of whereby he is a proper Mancunian now, right? And is that thing of
we never saw this at Munich.
Yeah.
I don't even think we saw this emotion.
Even at Barca, it wasn't.
Don't think we saw that at Barcelona fully. And it's like Haaland as well. Look at the way Haaland celebrates that goal yesterday. Does that look like a guy who wants to piss off in 12 months to Real Madrid?
No chance.
Nah.
No chance.
Do you know what I mean?
But even to build off of that, I think it's also the situation, right? Like this was a match where Fulham were content with that draw. They weren't playing to attack us. This was a match where we're a man down, and every player to manager fought to that very last minute. I think that was part of that celebration in the stands and in the stadium based off of that, right? It was that battle to win.
And you know, funny enough, this also I think the Aston Villa comeback has been it's basically it gave us like a new lease of life, almost like it's like the Aguero part 2. It's like we're living in the part 2 of the Aguero. Hence, whenever we go down, there's that belief that we are City. It's like this is basically who we are now, whereby we play until the last whistle. And even Pep now believes, and you can see it with Pep, is that thing of whereby, okay, hence he was even telling Cancelo, if he's in the box, let him score. We still have 65 minutes. Right. Man, and this is something which the Champions League can't give you on any tournament. Is that thing of whereby we go on until the end. And even the great
it scares everyone. This is what all the opposition are scared of, and other managers, because they're looking 7 years in now, and they're looking at Pep and they're looking at Haaland and they're seeing the happiness. Does Pep look like a guy who wants to leave tomorrow?
And you know, Martin, what's the scary part? It doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon.
No.
Unlike with Pep, unlike with Klopp.
Didn't he mention that, Don? Didn't he mention that in the post-match, saying that when he stopped seeing the hunger in the players, that's when he knows I'm done. Yeah. And he said, I loved it yesterday because they just gave me all the hunger they needed. So that's why I said, watch World Cup, new contract comes.
Exactly. I hope he signs though. I hope he signs, and I also hope
he will sign.
I even want Martin
to sign during the World Cup. That's why they're all going out there.
Yeah, and also this whole thing where you're saying, you know how Haaland's agent said, if they give you a new contract, there's rumors. He said she said we're going to welcome that contract. To be honest with you, Martin and Don, it's sort of true, because every time I'm watching this Haaland guy, and when he scores, he's not happy as a player. He's happy as a passion. Fan. Yeah, and when other people, when other people score, he's so excited, as if he's a fan.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Realistically now, name me a better club. I'm talking about operation, footballing than City. I think we're at a point now. You know, we are a
football club.
You know, but what's funny? We are at a point whereby.
So I only said that because I got told that yesterday by Barcelona. I got told that yesterday by a Barcelona fan that Barcelona was a bigger contract.
You know, Patrick,
you guys, no, don't smoke. Wait, don't smoke. Guys, first of all, you started the show Don't Smoke with talking about Maris. Algerians will come after me. Then Martin is bringing on Barcelona fans. These two fan bases are the worst you can ever want to get attacked by.
See you, Pat. Nice knowing you. Good luck.
No, but Patrick, Patrick, with Barcelona fans, you can listen to them and take the mick out of them. But bloody hell, the Algerians, you have the whole of Algeria, the country, coming after you.
I love Algerians though. Big up to my Algerian brothers, because they are so united. They all even Morocco.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
That is fear. That's fear.
Subscribe.
Yeah. Patrick, we are a place in football right now whereby I don't think there's a better place to go for any footballer who's ambitious than Man City. I feel like we can go even Madrid.
Hasn't Madrid fixed themselves though?
No. The thing is, I think it's more like, you know, it's more than a club. It's almost like a family. Look at the togetherness. Look at the togetherness between the fan base and the players. There's a coherence, even and the staff. That thing of whereby I'm joining not just for football, but also development as a person. Hence, Pep always says, for me to buy a player, my question is, okay, besides you being a good footballer, are you a good person? Right? Because you're joining a family and you're going to develop footballing wise, and also as a human being. So, man, whoever we go after, man, it doesn't matter who is in a race with us. If we really want that player, we will get them.
Okay.
Hey, Andy's best mate will come in the summer.
Oh, wait. Are you talking about Jude? Are you talking about Jude?
Yeah, someone's best mate will arrive in the summertime.
Okay, guys, can I just say something? Thank you all for coming, but let's just say one more thing. I'd like to get off topic. Somebody just texted me. Newcastle are third, Martin. Where did this come from? Newcastle are third. They have, yeah.
Really?
Are you going to ask me can they win the league?
No, I'm not. But I mean, like, look at that. Look at that, Martin. Draw,
No,
win,
you know
win,
what,
win,
Patrick,
win,
you know
win.
what I
My
find crazy? You know, since
I wrote
what
Liverpool.
no, Patrick, you know what I find crazy? Since what Grealish has decided to open his mouth about Amron. Amron has not been the same person since that time Grealish opened his mouth.
You know what, Jack? Can you start talking about players in your team too? Because
You should talk about Mahrez. I feel as if we should talk about Mahrez. Maybe Mahrez will
I feel he does because Mahrez needs that.
Martin, do you say don't smoke? Don't smoke. You really want that smoke from Algeria, don't you? You really want this Algerian smoke. There's two countries you don't mess with Egypt. You don't mess with Egypt and Algeria. Trust me, Egypt and Algeria.
Patrick, if it makes Mahrez a better player, I'll gladly take that smoke.
Okay. So, guys,
I've got plenty of room in my car, and I'm 20 minutes away from an airport. If anyone wants me to take Mahrez to the local airport, I don't mind. Anyone fancy an AC?
Too soon. It's too soon. Not just yet.
Wait. Let me ask on that since everybody's shooting. So, Martin, do you see no hope for Riyadh? That Riyadh will fix it?
Why'd you always come to me first on these? You always set
You're
me
at the
up
top.
first.
You're at the top of the panel.
You're at the
right,
top,
okay.
Ryan. You're at the top. Let's start off.
Oh.
Oh my!
No, I don't.
You think it's
No
too
hope
late?
for Mahrez.
No. Simple fact is, I think the way we play now doesn't suit him.
Okay.
He suits the false nine, not Haaland. And how do you coach a 32, 33-year-old into going back and playing with a number 9? If he was 19, 20, 21, 22, yeah, you probably could.
Yeah.
He's 32, 33. How do you coach that? How do you totally unpick everything and go, right? And it's not Mahrez's fault, Pat. It's not. It's because we've totally now changed everything we do. You look at the way we play with Haaland. Mahrez doesn't put them sort of balls in. Doesn't do that. He doesn't. So, sounds awful, but
Sounds really awful.
Vader's killing me tonight. He's like, you're done.
Hamza, you defended him on a post. You said he will be back. I think you wrote that. You wrote something like he'll be back. Guys,
I think when he missed the penalty, I said, you know what, head up, Riyad Mahrez. You'll be back soon. Don't worry. But you know what it is, right, with Mahrez?
I think he liked your tweet too. I saw he liked your tweet.
I wish he did. But you know what it is, right? You know what it is, brother. I'll be honest about Mahrez.
Yeah.
I feel like I agree with Martin what Martin said about, the system has changed, and obviously you can't tell a 32 and 33-year-old to, change everything and adapt to it straight away. It's very difficult. I feel like Mahrez, he's getting to that stage now where I hate to say it because I really liked Mahrez. I still like him. I still love him.
I'm also a fan.
I think it might be that. Yeah,
going.
Of course. Like, he's respected us. Like, what he's done for the club, we're not taking that away from him. He's done so much for us. But it might be getting to that point. No. But Patrick, it might be getting to that point now. We might have to let him go in the summer. Maybe.
Thank you
I'm
very
not
much.
saying 100%.
The contract is 3 years.
But the contract's 3 years. But if he's going to play like this, yeah, he should not expect to be in the starting all the time if he's playing the way he is. He can't expect that. Pep's got levels to this game. If you're playing bad, Pep will bench you. Pep won't play you. If you're not playing well, Pep won't play you.
Look, to be honest with you, like people are gonna end up telling me I'm scapegoating or I'm just picking on him. It's not. It's like genuinely look, the guy is given a chance. Yeah, when he starts. And the guy, like genuinely, you get a chance to state your claim to why you want to be back in the starting lineup. Somehow, some way, or I don't know, you find a way to just sorry for my French, but fuck it up in a sense. You're given a chance after and afterwards, and every single time, and you still find a way to fuck it up.
I think it's I think
Yeah.
what Adam. I think it's what Martin said before. The system's changed a bit with these wingers, and we do expect him to adapt straight away, but it will take time. If he does end up staying in the summer, which will probably be most likely. Yeah, he will probably stay, but he shouldn't expect to be in that first team if he keeps performing like this. Patrick, I'll be honest.
Yeah, Veta, last
I
words.
don't even
Wait,
But
don't
go
go.
on,
Let's
go
go.
on.
Veta is going. Veta is going. So Veta, last
go.
words.
Yeah, I was just gonna say with Russ Mahrez, he doesn't. He just needs to show that he can be effective, and he's been given the opportunities numerous times where we've been like, this guy didn't deserve to start, but he's been out there, and if he had showed that he was going to be effective, cool. But he hasn't been consistent enough. And if there's anything that Pep is consistent with, is that if you are not delivering, you are not playing. So we, as a fan base as well, we need to accept that if man's not pulling his weight the way the other 10 players on that pitch are, then he sits, and we got to be cool with it until he shows better form. I know it may seem harsh because he's delivered many great moments for us in the past, but if he's not doing it, he sits, and that's just what it is. I respect him for everything that he's done.
Thanks for having me. If you look, one thing last summer should have taught us all: nobody's safe.
Yeah,
100%.
That summer taught me one thing: nobody in our squad is safe.
Yeah, and I think the biggest impediment on Mahrez is his work ethic, right? I understand if you're having a stinker. You know one thing I appreciate about Grealish, even though at times he's not the most effective, his work ethic at times tries to cover for the lack of the output.
Don't say that name.
No,
Don't say that name in front of
Every
me.
time I hear Grealish, I need to get my body armor on and start getting go on to this big defensive rant every time.
Right.
Every time I hear Grealish, I got told yesterday he should be here, there, and everywhere, and I'm like, what?
Right.
But Martin, apparently rival fans watch us week in, week out.
Yeah, I've
No,
never
but
told
that's
an
what I
Arsenal
heard.
fan who watches us week in, week out. He knows where everyone plays, but then I told him Foden played on the right, and he went, "Oh right, hang on, I thought he watched us week in, week out. You should know Foden's on the right."
Exactly.
Like,
Is
come on.
he Patrick, right? I think there's nothing more frustrating than you having a stinker and then you walking on the pitch. And on your side, they're attacking your side and the goal comes from your side. Right. I remember one of the Madrid games. I think it was Modric, slow old Modric, managed to take the ball from Mahrez, and is that thing of whereby give us, especially match paying fans, hunger and desire. Show them, you know what, okay, I understand that I'm not having the best of games, but I'm willing to contribute in other ways. Right? Is that thing of whereby unless Mahrez scores or assists, what is he doing? Right.
Yeah, right about
So is that thing of whereby there's no so like your next best place is the bench, right? Because it's like it's either you give us that or why are you here?
Wait, you're right about that. That's true about Mahrez. If he doesn't score if he doesn't score, Mahrez, we say he's had a bad game because there's nothing he does. He doesn't track back. He won't put that desire. So I saw him track back in the last game anyway. So let me just divert into this because I can see a few Nigerians already in my DMs on Twitter. So I'm gonna divert it to this. I know it's out of topic, but do you guys see Bernardo Silva living in the winter market? That's for you, Adam.
No, I didn't see that. But Martin, go on, bro.
No, Adam. Let's not Martin be the first one to be.
Wait, to Barca, to Europa League.
I think he means to anyone.
to anybody. Can I be honest with you guys? If I see him crying over Barca again, this transfer, I'll go and pack. No. Let's be honest. No.
I'm not having it. I'm going for him.
No. Let's be honest, Martin. If we see him crying over, if we hear this crying over Barcelona, where Barcelona are right now, I think all of us should just go and pack his bags.
You won't hear it from him.
As if,
You won't hear it from him. You'll hear it from his agent.
Yeah,
Or what you need to do is just listen for his agent in the window.
Yeah.
If his agent starts doing what his agent did in the summer, then you know there's something trying to be maneuvered. I don't think he'll move in the winter. Do I think his agent will try and get him out in the summer? Yes. Don't think it'll happen. If he leaves, and I'm still saying if, because I can't rule out a new contract. Let's put it on, mate. If City offer him a new contract
and he says no,
then you know there is nothing we can do at that point. It is game over. We have to let him go.
You know,
I don't want any of this. He's turned us down. Let's keep him, because I'm so. It's like that girlfriend you don't want to lose, and you're like you start.
What's with the guest and references?
Do that, and it's like what's you doing?
This
she doesn't want to be with you. Just go. It's like
you know, to Martin's point, I feel as if at the end of the day, right? I think we've as a club we've gone down an emotional journey, which is slowly bringing players more to the club. Hence, I'm saying like we literally a family now. Is that thing of whereby wherever he's gonna go, I don't think even he knows at this point that he won't be as loved or admired as he is at City. So is that thing of whereby the longer he stays, the more he's leaning towards that new contract. I won't be surprised.
He's 28 now, you know that, right? I was arguing with somebody saying, "Oh, Bernardo is 26." It's like, bro, he's been here for so long.
That's my only worry, Pat. If he's going to move, this is his last chance, really.
It is.
In a prime, for his prime years, this is it. Because you don't want to be going abroad at 32, 33, really. You want to be going 28 when you can still have an impact. So if he's going to go, it will be this summer. For me, 110%. But to Don's point there, you look at the way City are. We don't talk to agents. We don't talk in the media. Everything is done with respect. You look at every time there's a player that gets announced to sign for us, it's generally the opposition that announce it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Dortmund were the first one to announce Haaland.
We don't announce it.
Anderlecht announced Gomez. You're right about that. Yeah.
And here's the big thing. If you treat the players with respect and clubs with respect, you get treated with that respect right back.
Yeah.
If you bully your way to a transfer, then no, you don't get it. That's why us and Dortmund. That's why us and Dortmund have the relationship we have, because we treat them right.
And one of the best things I love about City is we never get in a player's way, and players respect that about us. Because the thing is, we believe in ourselves as an institution that this is the best place to play football. And if you don't believe that, you're free to go. Right. And that's what, and that is why players will lean to us saying that, you know what, if it doesn't work out, there's an exit, the door is always open. And no one will get, and Pep, he won't get in your way. He says, I want to play as long as he wants to be here. Because you're also going to affect the dressing room's chemistry. So, man, I won't be surprised if I see a picture of Bernardo shaking hands.
You know what it is as well? You know why players also respect the club and also some other clubs respect us as well? Is that we don't have this shit that's going on at United where you have players who are fucking bloody leaking stuff and all of that stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, that was a bit embarrassing. So here, there's a comment saying couldn't handle it when Pep told him he had to fix up, and now even Chelsea fans are sick of him. It's only November and they want him out and gone. Yeah, Chelsea, you can keep him. So guys, that's the show for today. That's the episode 2 of Sunday Blues. I had the great Martin. Martin, would you like to plug your channel?
Yeah, it's the Champions League is full of crap. com. No, no, the Mancunian way, as you can see, we have a little bit of Mancunian humour as well thrown in. But it's for all fans, new, old, home, abroad. I don't care. Just come and learn about Manchester City, because we do like to talk about the history as well. I am a dinosaur, but yeah, give these fellas a lot of love as well. Well, thank you.
You see, Martin, you were accusing me on your show the other day that it's me, but it's you who taught me that word. Every time I watch you, you call yourself a dinosaur.
Well, I am. I get told I'm a dinosaur, don't I? Hey, don't worry. I got told by an Arsenal fan yesterday that he knows more about the club than I do.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
you know what I mean? Even Hamza was laughing at it. I'm like,
wait. Did somebody from your family not play in the club?
No, my father he got offered a contract at City, but because the times were hard, he turned it down. We're talking 50s, 60s, so the money wasn't there then. But he played for Manchester City reserves.
Oh, maybe the guy who knows better than you actually played for City, so maybe that's why.
Well, he watches his week in, week out, apparently, don't he?
You know. That's what makes me laugh when people are arguing with YouTubers. I've noticed that somebody warned me about this. He said, when you do YouTube, and the more you're out there, you will find people who just have a personal vendetta, yet they're obsessed with you. I have a friend, Martin. I don't even call it a friend. Follows me everywhere, every stream. They follow me, and they even subbed here, and they'll leave a comment. But their main idea is to argue against me, because every time I'm on Twitter, this particular individual comments, and today he said, my sole reason in this world is to finish Patrick. And I was like, where did I find you? Where? But it seems like every YouTuber
Hey,
has
I've had people tell me about Manchester, and I'm like, well, whereabouts are you from? He said LA.
Maybe Manchester.
Not being funny. I said, I'm in Manchester right now, but you're in LA and you're telling me about Manchester. I'm like, just forget it. Forget it. There's no point in arguing at that point.
It's quite interesting. So Hamza
obviously,
guys,
they were arguing about. It was just random. I'm like, what?
It's scary times. It's scary times. This
just
social
want
media
to
thing.
argue with you.
I know, because I think they just pick you as their next target, and that's what some of them go, because there used to be one. His name was John. He went away. But now this new one doesn't seem to go away. It's been months now. But fair play to you. At least he subscribes and comments on the videos. Yeah. So Hamza does spaces,
use power guys. You want as long as you subscribe is what he's saying.
Yeah, I know that. So
that should be a new tagline: subscribe and abuse.
Subscribe and abuse. That's a good one. Subscribe and abuse.
Subscribe and abuse. So Hamza and Adam do spaces, city spaces, very good spaces, guys. Follow them on Twitter, and Don't Smoke. You can follow him on Twitter. He's a very funny guy. He has a lot of agendas, and he's full of ball knowledge. Don't Smoke is full of ball knowledge. I'm serious. So guys, that's the show. That's the episode 2.
Hey, what time is the Champions League draw tomorrow?
It's 11 a.m. 11 a.m. always.
11 GMT UK time.
Yeah,
I'll probably host this. I'll probably do one in the afternoon.
Adam, you could host it or I could host it. Just let me know. If you can't do it, then I'll do it. Up to you.
Well, is it 11 or is it they have an hour of waffle and then we do the draw?
It starts at 11, but it's probably going to end up starting at 12.
That's what
That's if their machine don't crash again like the last time.
They have your man with the glasses who just waffles for no reason and just yaps, makes jokes that he loves to himself. Do you remember last time when he asked Balando if she can twerk? How did he get away with that? It was him. It was him. It was the same guy who does the UFO.
He actually asked her that on live TV.
He did, but he still got
move on very quick. Let's move on.
Yeah, he did, and I remember he did. So, guys, that's the show. Like the vid, go subscribe to Martin's Mancunian Way. It's a very good channel. Subscribe to Veda Games. He had to leave early, but subscribe to Pitch Points. Even though Carl wasn't here after he asked me to put Alvarez as part of the topic. So, Carl, boo on you. Obviously, I'll talk to you.
Celebrating. Leave him alone.
So guys, that's it. Thank you very much, panel, for coming on. There's still more people who promised to come in the panel, haven't come in yet. I think maybe they're going to come in the next panel, but anyway, we'll continue with this Sunday Blues, and I hope we have a better discussion next week. So that's goodbye from me.